Behold, the glorious Frost Warframe, the best frame for all of the things, except for the things they are not the best at. So much crowd control. In a game where you're fighting an entire army, Frost is effortlessly able to control many enemies at once. Ice Wave and its augment are perfect for most crowds, and Avalanche can be modded with strength to not only freeze everyone, but also fully remove their armor, which I don't think I need to explain why that's amazing. It's also radial, so it's more of a panic button. You have a cheaper, more energy efficient way to Ice Wave a little group that you see, but if enemies are all over the place, you could just hit Avalanche and they'll all be frozen. Cold proccing enemies with lots of frost abilities is great for condition overload as well. Snow Globe is the quintessential objective defense ability. You literally just make a physical shield around whatever you want. And you can make 4 of them, which is ridiculous. And much of Warframe's challenge comes from defending other things anyway, rather than defending yourself. So this is a perfect ability for most types of missions. It's even good if enemies are swarming you and running into the Snow Globe, because there's an augment that will just outright freeze 50% of the enemies that come in. It's not very difficult to win a mission if every enemy is melee, think of infested missions, and 50% of them just cannot move when they try to get near you. That is not to even mention Frost's passive, which is not great, but it does help in situations where enemies are all around you and swarming you by freezing some of them when they attack you. Snow Globe can kill enemies, too. Enemies in the initial cast area, so if they're close to you, they're within what would be the radius of Snow Globe when you cast it, violently fly backward and take true damage equal to half of their health when they hit terrain. True damage ignores all resistances, it ignores armor, it's just they lose half of their health, period, which can be used to easily kill arbitrary tanky enemies by just plowing them into the wall over and over again, or at the very least it just makes them helpless to fight back. If you're in an open world, you can cast the Snow Globe and whatever enemies are hit by it will be halfway across the map, so you don't need to worry about them anymore, might as well kill them as well. Freeze is an ability that exists, okay, but the augment, Frost is also an elemental buffer, for cold obviously, and cold is a phenomenal general use element, with great damage type bonuses against alloy armor and shields, as well as an at least okay status effect that slows enemies. Another thing is that a lot of Frost's abilities slow or stun enemies in a way that isn't connected to cold, so those things can potentially stack if they're slowed by some other source. Other frames have other slowing abilities as well, and most of them are not cold, so that will stack, which is great. Can make enemies extremely slow and basically harmless. That's a powerful type of ability, this elemental buffing thing, and cold is a particularly good element for it. So overall, freeze is still solid despite, okay, but the augment is pretty good. Frost is just so good at locking down huge numbers of enemies at once, and when you can bring like 5 different weapons that can all kill all of your enemies to every mission, all you really need to do is hold them still, and that's what Frost does. Now I know what you're thinking, Frost must be my favorite Warframe. Isn't that right?